Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor. I've got some kids asleep, so I'm not speaking too loud. But I've got a lot of information that I was going to give you this morning. I flat ran out of time yesterday because I had some baseball related things that were going on and I couldn't avoid it. I didn't get to my third video yesterday, so there's a lot of stuff here. This is from XRP Veteran at XRP Veteran, always New York. It's important because Bittrex is an XRapid partner. Well, as we talked about the other day, I'm trying to remember which company it was. Oh, it was Bitstamp. They got one of the New York bit licenses, and then the New York people must have weighed in on who gets a bit license. They must have done more than one at once because this news came out right after the Bitstamp news. But anyway, what was interesting about this is they rejected the Bittrex license, and then Bittrex tweeted this statement on New York Department of Financial Services decision. Bittrex is saddened and disappointed in today's decision, but then this is what's interesting. Bittrex fully disputes the findings of the New York Department of Financial Services in today's decision. We have worked diligently with them to address their questions and meet their requirements since first applying for our BIT license in August of 2015. So I don't know what's going on there, but it doesn't sound like a good thing. And there's a lot of people getting fed up with the ridiculous regulations in New York. But this, you make no mistake about it, if they're putting something like this out, they believe that this decision had more to do with politics than it did with them actually falling in line with what was required for the regulations. So it'll be interesting to see how all of that pans out. Okay, I got this from @X Lighting the Way, and he sent me this, which I think was very interesting. Before I've mentioned Hedera Hashgraph on this channel. And the reason I mentioned it is because it's an interesting technology that I believe my dad had made me aware of. But Hedera Hashgraph is supposed to be like 4th or 5th generation, not digital assets, but blockchain, because Hedera Hashgraph is not blockchain. It's a new technology called Hashgraph, and there will be digital assets around it. But right now, the way they've had it is you have been able to get, first let me make sure I cover this appropriately. This is from Weiss Ratings. Ari Paul, CIO of one of the world's largest crypto hedge funds, now advising Hedera Hashgraph. This project keeps getting better and better. And so here's their website. But you can go to their portal. Now, a long time ago, maybe a few months ago, when I told you about this, you were able to go in, and they've changed it now, but you were able to go in and try to earn some of their, what will be their digital asset, which I believe is called H-bars. But they haven't officially issued a digital currency yet, is the way I understand it. But I just wanted to show you who some of their investors are, more specifically this right here, Digital Currency Group. This is Barry Silbert's company that has their hands in every important blockchain pie in the world, and you need to pay attention to that anytime before you invest in any company. See who's investing in them now, because these are big time. But this is something you definitely want to explore, and go around their website. It's Hedera, HEDERA.com. Go to their website and go to the portal, and then it might ask you if you don't have an account yet, and then you can sign up for one probably. But go check it out and stay tuned in. At a minimum, subscribe to their email newsletter so maybe you'll be notified. If I find out that you can go and buy this digital asset, I will let you know. Okay, from King Solomon, Securitize Ready Network. Now remember, Securitize is a company that's working on the tokenization of assets. And so, they're invested in by Spring, which is Ripple's initiative, and Coinbase, as I recall. Funding by Ripple's and Spring ability to issue tokenized, but first is King Solomon, at XRP_OWL. Securitize Ready Network. Funding by Ripple's Spring ability to issue tokenized securities on XRP Ledger. So these guys, they've just announced this Securitize Ready Network, where they formed a network comprised of several companies specializing in digital securities. The goal, simplify the tokenization for potential issuers. So they're moving along. And my understanding is that eventually you'll be able to tokenize your company if you go to this company, and you can do it on the XRP Ledger. That's huge. Okay, got this from my buddy at ECOSSEXRP1, James Bond. And this is what he sent. American savers lost an estimated $500 billion due to low interest rates. See financial crisis. Well, what this article is basically about, and I've talked about this a lot, but what this is about is, as I've mentioned many, many times, the governments of the world, because they didn't want to do the responsible thing, have put all of our countries in tremendous amounts of debt. And now they've put themselves in a box where they can't raise interest rates, because then they have to carry their debt. And their debt is more, they have to pay more of a debt load if the interest rates are higher. So who do they hurt? They hurt all of the responsible citizens of their countries, because they are the savers. The people that want to save money now have no interest rates that are that pay them anything on their savings. And so they make the point right here. One long-lasting impact from the crisis caused in part by irresponsible banking behavior is suppressed interest rates, Wells Fargo analyst Mike Mayo wrote. It's absolutely a wealth transfer from prudent investors to the borrowers and risk takers. So imagine this. They keep, I'll use the United States as an example. They keep the interest rates low because if they raise them, it increases their debt load. But by keeping them low, and if things get out of hand, they bail out the banks. So the banks are able to make more money by the interest rates being low, and they're given money for doing nothing, and then they're able to loan it out and make money on it. Well, meanwhile, if they fail, they're going to be bailed out. That's the lesson they've learned. And so they may as well take all the risks in the world that they want, because they know, as long as they know they're too big to fail, they don't have any problem. Meanwhile, the savers, the grandparents that want to buy CDs, are getting paid nothing. And a lot of these people are people in retirement. These governments ought to be ashamed of themselves. Digital assets are the answer. Okay. And next, from Brian Melancholy XRP at Mike Honcho _11 has been on fire. Now, folks, what I'm about to show you is a monster. This is huge. This is from Forbes. Coinbase and Visa are making Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ripple's XRP, and Litecoin payments a reality. Bitcoin and other major cryptocurrencies, including XRP. That's not the part I wanted to read you. Now, a major Bitcoin and cryptocurrency exchange, Coinbase, has teamed up with global payments processor Visa to try to change that, launching the Coinbase card, which allows users to spend crypto as effortlessly as money in their bank. That is a monster, folks. Big. And then XRP Crypto Wolf kind of summarized it. Coinbase launched a Visa debit card allowing UK and EU users to spend crypto directly from their accounts. So it's just UK and EU. Meanwhile, the United States, of course, is being left behind, because we have all kinds of regulations, like in New York for a bit license. And so we're all being left behind here. Coinbase card customers will be able to spend their XRP, BTC, ETH, and LTC, other cryptocurrencies as effortlessly as money in their bank. Well, good for Coinbase and their European customers. Now, this is interesting right here. XRP Crypto Wolf sent me this yesterday. institutions, this is an article he's tweeting. Remember the run-up that we had on April the 2nd? Institutions increased BTC longs by 88% right before the price rally. CFTC data reveals that institutional investors flipped bullish on BTC on April the 2nd. This is the date when BTC soared from 4,100 to more than 5,300 in minutes. Wow, no manipulation at all. The CFTC and SEC clearly know about this manipulation, and yet they do nothing about it. So it's clearly obvious that everyone is in on the insider trading manipulation. They're the true manipulators, even though they're saying that they don't like the crypto market manipulation BS. The CFTC and the SEC are slowing regulations and crypto approvals because of this manipulation, even though they are the ones colluding with the smart money to do it behind the scenes. So what a bunch of hypocrites for purposely delaying everything to fit their own agenda and interests. Well, wow, XRP crypto wolf's on fire. I like it. Okay, next from Jack the Rippler. The next financial crisis will be huge. Banks tested XRP years ago and implemented the blockchain technology to already existing financial system. XRP crypto is here to help the world. Banks will use digital currencies in 2019. What this is a clip with Chris Larsen, which is Ripple's chairman, and he's talking about how he believes XRP could help in the next financial crisis and help with liquidity, which was a big problem in last time's financial crisis. And then he puts this clip from Brad Garlinghouse. And what Brad Garlinghouse is talking about is how he was meeting with a huge bank, one of the largest banks in the world, and he was just talking to them about Ripple and Ledger technology, and all of a sudden one of the bankers asked if XRP could help him settle into Peru. And he was talking about how unbelievable this was to him. They know, folks. And then there's this. And this is the IMF was all over the place yesterday. Now remember, I keep telling you something's going on with the IMF. Remember, Ripple has met, we have documentation and video of Ripple and Christine Lagarde, who runs the IMF. She's mentioned Ripple and XRP several times. We have video, we have documents. It's happened. It's been going on for almost 5 years, I believe. This is from 589 Society. IMF Christine Lagarde, banks are going to have to adapt to survive or possibly disappear. And this was from this conference they had yesterday on digital payments, the topic money and payment in digital age. She literally says that the banks are going to have to adapt to survive or possibly disappear. Where have you heard that? And then the IMF puts this out on their Twitter feed. We would like to hear from you. How do you think you will be paying for lunch in 5 years? Boom, 57% say cryptocurrency. That is huge, folks. Okay, and next from XRP Big Time, Lagarde has previously encouraged central banks to examine digital currencies in order to keep up with changes in the financial landscape. And this is an article from none other than CNBC. And this is an article from yesterday. International monetary, cryptocurrencies clearly shaking the systems, what she said. IMF's managing director said Wednesday that disruptors are having a clear impact on the banking sector. Distributed ledger technologies like cryptocurrencies and digital assets are shaking the system. She warned that innovation in the banking sector needs to be accompanied by regulation to maintain stability and trust in the system. Now, who has been leading the charge to have a regulated crypto and digital asset industry for the last 5+ years? Ripple. And she knows it. I think the role of disruptors and anything that is using distributed ledger technology, whether you call it crypto, assets, currencies, or whatever, that is clearly shaking the system, she said. And then they went on to mention that banks like JP Morgan, they've responded with their own attempts to embrace new technology, and they're trialing their JPM token. And then C3 Nick sends out this tweet. JP Morgan has one fatal flaw in their thinking. They assume that people that people and their competitors trust banks. False. Trust is a major issue, which especially became apparent during the financial crisis. A digital asset with counterparty risk is no solution. It's the problem. Exactly. Okay, and then I wanted to show you something interesting and throw some credit out to someone who deserves it. XRP Iceman sent me his new logo that was designed by Extra Hardcore. For those of you that don't know, Extra Hardcore designs a lot of the logos in the XRP community and other communities such as the Holochain community. At XRP Iceman, go check. This is his new logo. I think what they're getting at is how this is what people see with XRP, but this huge iceberg below the surface is what XRP really is. But another cool logo from Extra Hardcore. And if you need a logo, you need to go see Extra Hardcore. This is his Twitter feed at XTRA_HRDCOR_XRP. And then he's got a website and he'll design you a logo. He designed my logo. You can see Hoder's logo, CKJ's logo is on here. There's so many people who he's helped out in doing their logos, so go check him out. The XRP Zoo logo's on here. And then finally, what I wanted to mention is when I see XRP Iceman, it reminds me of one of the greatest movies of all time. And I wanted to mention to you one of the greatest movie scenes of all time that any of you who have not seen this movie, you can see it on YouTube. You see here, Meet the Parents. One of the funniest movies I've ever seen in my life. But the reason Iceman reminds me of this is this movie, for those of you that don't know, is about this guy here, played by Ben Stiller, and he's getting engaged to his girlfriend here, and so she wants to take him home with her to meet the parents. And while he's there, it's one big pile of you know what to another. But the funniest scene, to me, one of the funniest scenes in the history of movies, is when she and her family think that it would be a good idea to take him to her ex-boyfriend's house. From the time they walk in the door at her ex-boyfriend's house, it is one hilarious comment after another, some of the best movie lines ever. But where this relates to Iceman is he finds out while he's there that she and her boyfriend, who dated back during the time when Top Gun came out, referred to each other as Iceman and Goose, which were which one was the Tom Cruise character and one was the character played by, I can't remember the guy's name, but he was in Revenge of the Nerds. But anyway, one of the funniest movie scenes ever. So that's what Iceman reminds me of when I see it. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe and hit the like button and tell your friends and family to go watch Meet the Parents. Iceman, thanks for listening.